Hey guys, another COVID update for you from Japan, including some interesting statistics. First, a quick weather update. 36 degrees, really hot. Lots of dragonflies and insects and things buzzing around, so you might get some dragonflies coming through the shot if we're lucky. So I'll get to the statistics. 127 million people in Japan, 58,446 have tested positive so far. 44,771 have been discharged, so they've been sent home. 1,143 deaths. So obviously it's very sad and very tragic. However, we do appreciate that probably Japan has been lucky compared with some other countries. Partly luck and partly some other points that we'll get to in a minute. Just having our second wave. Japanese media is funny. The information always has to come from sensei, you know. So one of the newspapers said today that a specialist has said that we're in our second wave. And if you look at the charts of all the statistics, you know, anybody, a layman, can see we're in our second wave because it went up and sort of peaked and then it came down again, got under control, then everybody started going about their business again and it went up again. It really does seem it's the 20-something, the people in their 20s seem to be the ones who are spreading it the most. They're out in their groups. The 20-year-olds love getting out in big groups. We're seeing them all over the place and they're hanging out with all their friends, not wearing masks and things like that. And then they're taking it home to their families, and then the old people in their families are dying. It seems to be what it is, and we keep hearing the same reports when they analyse where it's being spread the most. It's sort of party places, basically. It's people partying, people getting in small spaces and drinking and eating and partying and karaoke and all that sort of stuff. And then when you see the statistics about who's testing positive the most, it's people in their 20s. I mean, obviously it's younger people too and older people too, but it's definitely clearly that demographic that are the ones out and about in their big groups, sharing it between them. One report we saw actually listed the things, you know, lots of people in a confined space, saliva, kissing, it said, saliva it said, and then in brackets kissing was one of the ways it's spreading the most. So don't see a lot of kissing in Japan, but it must be going on apparently. So some interesting statistics as to why it's not spreading. Now, we've got an old family friend who's 72 years old who spends his days on the television, listening to the radio, on the computer. Doesn't leave his house much, particularly now during COVID, but he's a really good source of information. Everything he's told us has always proved out to be correct. He's very good at being able to work out what's true and what's nonsense. He gave us some interesting statistics. Masks, 30% of Japanese people are always wearing their mask when they leave the house, no matter where they're going, what they're doing, which is those people we see out here walking around here on their own, one person on their own wearing their mask. So that's 30% of people report that they always wear their mask when they leave the house, no matter where they're going and what they're doing. 66% always wear their mask when they're around other people. So if they leave the house and they're around other people in close proximity, they wear their mask, 66. So that's sort of that's the logical group, isn't it, you know, really. And then 4% never wear a mask. So we have no trouble. Since he told us this, it really fits with what we see. It really fits with what we see. We've told you already about the people that just wear their masks all the time and never take them off. That's in the 30%. And then the other ones that we see, you know, when sort of appropriate to wear it, 66. And then that 4%, yeah, we do see 4% that never wear it. When we go to the home centre or where we go places, you do see people just walking around without their mask. That's the 4%, obviously. So, but that's still not bad, is it? That means that 96% of people are wearing their masks in situations where they should be wearing a mask. 96%. And then the cleaning hands and everything that Japanese people always do, and the social distancing is something that they always do anyway. So that helps explain why the numbers in Japan aren't as bad as what they are in some other countries. This does too. During Obon, it's the Obon festival, and it's supposed to be when the ancestors come back from the afterlife, you know. And usually during Obon, people go back to their family homes, and quite often that's in another prefecture. So there's a lot of travelling goes on during Obon, probably the most, other than probably New Year's about the same. but people travel all over the country back to their home prefectures. This year, only 7% travelled to their home prefecture, left their own prefecture and went to another prefecture. Only 7%. 15% travelled locally within the prefecture, and 78% stayed home. Now, keep in mind there's no restrictions in Japan at the moment, and there sort of hasn't been at all the way along. You know, we've been pretty free to go wherever we want and do whatever we want. Now and again, the government will ask us to please stay home, but there's no penalties and there's no repercussions if we went out. So that's pretty amazing, isn't it? Only 7% travelled to other prefectures, only 15% travelled locally, and 78% of people stayed home. So, you know, these numbers explain, isn't it interesting too? There's no penalties. All this has just been that social conscience thing that's so big in Japan, you know. So it helps explain it, doesn't it, when you see those numbers? And nothing surprising in that for us. It's like, yep, that fits with what we see, you know. So anyway, that's the latest from Japan. Just before we go, can you guys please, if your financial situation's normal, if you can do anything you can to help support small businesses, you know, small businesses and businesses owned by small families or individuals, and you know, because those guys are really suffering at the moment. So if your financial situation is reasonably normal, if you can go and buy a cup of coffee or buy something from one of those small businesses, go into one of those small businesses and spend a little money just to support them, it'll really make a huge difference. We know, because we're in that boat at the moment, and you know, we've got our corkboard covered in bills that we can't pay, and there's nothing we can do about it, you know, because 78% of people are staying home. so you know, anything you can do to help small businesses, you know, if you know a shop nearby or something nearby, a little cafe or something, if you can go in and spend a little bit of money with them, it'll give you something nice and it'll help them out as well. As for us, those people supporting us on Patreon, thank you very much. If you're on Patreon, you can step up your support at all, that'd be really great. And if you're not on Patreon yet, please consider supporting us on Patreon, because that's making all the difference to us at the moment. It also has justified spending more time on videos and photos and doing things for the channel than we normally do as well, because it's sort of really important at the moment. It really is. If we could double what we do with our videos and photos and our Patreon support, that would be really good at the moment. It really would help clear the corkboard of bills. Every time a bill comes in, or every time a little bit of money comes in, we look at the bills and go, which one's the most important? Better pay the electricity. So anyway, there it was, the latest from Japan. It's hot, it's really hot. More videos coming soon.